like they are so long, and by the end of it, I'm like, why did I commit this much time?
You feel guilty,
dude. I mean, we have a mature audience, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is like, it's like post-nut clarity, bro. You're like, dude, why did I just spend 32 hours on like computers?
Welcome to The Fourth Act, our entertainment podcast where once a week we discuss a topic on TV, movies, and more. My name is Gabe, and I'm here today for the first time with my friend, Saul.
Woo! I'm very excited to be here.
Now, you are the second guest, depending on if Jets is like, she's like the unofficial third member. Even though she's been on like half the videos, she should probably be the third member, but we'll call her unofficial 1.
Okay.
Unofficial 3. You're unofficial 4. The unofficial 4th member of Act 4 Media, Saul.
Here I am.
Now, today, normally we've talked about movies and TV. Today, we're going to be talking about video games.
Video games.
But before that, of course, we ask that you subscribe.
What?
Oh, you've been watching.
I know the lore.
We appreciate if you subscribe, if you like the videos. If you like the video, definitely like, share it with somebody. We're trying to get to 50. We're on the cusp. We're on like 42, 43, somewhere around there. So we definitely appreciate if you want to support the channel, go for it. But yeah, today we are talking about video games. And the thesis of the conversation is growing up a gamer. I was gonna name it something clickbaity at first. And I still have that question for you later. But just getting right into it, my friend, our relationship blossomed. It became reality through video games.
Yeah.
But we don't really play with each other anymore.
I know.
Just because, you know, like our gaming habits have changed.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that later. We're definitely going to talk about like some of our favorite games. If you're here just to hear what we got to say about certain games, there's going to be time codes. Just fast forward. But at first, I present the question to you. What got you into gaming? Like, have you just been gaming for as long as you can remember? Is there a moment? Did somebody hand you a Game Boy? What happened?
I feel like there is a moment. I mean, my first console was like a Sega Genesis. I remember my dad just...
Sega boy.
Yeah, my dad just brought it. But that's the thing. Is like my first 2 consoles were a Sega Genesis and Nintendo 64. But I wouldn't consider myself a gamer at that point in time. I was just like, oh, these are cool toys. Like, I just had whatever games were there when I got them, right?
And that's important to note, is that they were toys. Like, even until now, like the way the Switch looks and everything, Nintendo tries to make them look like toys.
But yeah, I would say when I became a gamer was the original Xbox, because
Halo, baby.
Not Halo. I'm telling you, this story is gonna... I've probably never told you this.
Okay.
Look, growing up, I had a big imagination. I was super into Legos. I loved Legos. I loved building Legos. But I got to the age where like my imagination wasn't good enough anymore. Right. You know, I couldn't just, they're shooting each other. Blah,
you
blah.
wanted somebody else to think for you.
Yes, I wanted the Legos to come to life.
Right. Okay.
Lego Star Wars.
Lego, really?
Lego Star Wars and the original Xbox.
And you already like Star Wars then?
I love Star Wars. Yeah. I guess, I don't even know.
I was about to say, what age do you think you are? What grade? Can you think of like kindergarten?
It must be like, oh man, I have no idea.
But very early on. Like,
yeah, very early on.
Do you think you already like in...
It's when the Xbox came out, in which I can't even tell you when the original Xbox came out.
If I had to guess, I don't know, 2002.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Because I remember I was promised it for Christmas, and I waited all the way until May to get it, because was just like that hard to get.
Yeah.
And when I got it, the very first game I had was Lego Star Wars, and it like that changed me. And I was like, this is amazing. But then it was also Halo. Like, I remember having the wireless remote and like playing Halo, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. So yeah, that's the moment where I'm like, oh, I'm in, because you know, my imagination went away from like toys and like using my imagination to like video games. Like, I don't have to pretend. Like, I see that they do things, they interact, you know, I'm
you
part
can
of
be
this. Yes,
Master Chief. You can be Lego Luke Skywalker.
Of course.
Now, for me, my first console was the PlayStation 1. Now, I think that came out in 1995. Now, at some point, it came out on my birthday, September 9th, 1995, but I think it came out in Japan first and then came to the States, or vice versa. Like, it came to the States on 1995. I just remember because I shared a birthday with it.
Yeah.
And I don't remember asking for it because I was just really young. I was probably like 4 or 5 years old, because this is like preschool, I think. So like 4 years old. And yeah, I do remember that far. I had consciousness back then.
My consciousness developed much later.
I remember getting bit by a dog in that era. I remember a lot of things about that era. But I remember getting the PS1 for my birthday. And again, I didn't ask for it, or maybe I did. I just don't remember. But I just remember playing like a lot of different, like, I don't know if they were demos or full games, but I remember we had like a Barbie game where like a giant boulder was coming down.
There was all kinds of demo discs.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, demos, that's a whole.
I remember like Burger King gave you like Pinata 360 years.
Or even like they had the Sneak King.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You remember that? Like they had like Burger King, like the king was doing his own little shit. I don't know. But yeah, I don't remember if they were full games or demos or what the case was. I remember playing as Cyclops in a fighting game, so I don't know if that was Marvel versus Capcom or what. I just remembered.
Were you a giant Cyclops?
No, like Cyclops, like X-Men Cyclops.
I got you.
Yeah, I thought I was going nerdy with it with Cyclops, and you talked about a giant Cyclops. You went nerdy. You one-upped me.
Because there's like a demo that I fully remember playing, and I'd never. It's probably called like Monsters or something. But you're basically the eyeball with lightning. Arms. And
what is that called? Kong. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. And
it's
I played
the King
that demo
Kong universe, isn't it? It was like all monsters from.
I don't think it is. Oh. It could be. What is it
no,
called?
I'm thinking Godzilla. My bad. Godzilla.
But even then, like, I think it's inspired by those kaiju movies. What is it called? You destroy all monsters or something about monsters. Monsters is in the title.
Definitely the title. But
yeah, no. Me and Augie, my brother, we played.
I love that. You would find like the antenna from the building.
Yeah,
that's the best weapon to just throw.
You just pulled something from deep within there. No, yeah, we definitely played that. But yeah, so I guess I've always been a PlayStation boy, and from there, where can I go?
I had no allegiances.
I mean, neither did I really. Like I've always had, when I was able to like buy my own stuff, or at least, you know.
Oh yeah, you always had all three.
I had all three: the Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation.
You were a poly boy.
Yeah, I was a freak.
I was like, which one's the better hardware? Like,
yeah, because you went from like, well, all right. Here's what we'll go. I already talked about what I started with. You talked about what you started with. Now, for us, what we started with, I met you when I was in 6th grade in the summer. So you were going to 6, I was going to 7.
Your memory's so good.
Oh, yeah, I remember our anniversary. I mean, well, what was that? That would have been 2006?
Oh, man. So,
what year are we in? 17 years?
Yeah.
We're celebrating our 17-year anniversary this summer, man. But yeah, so I think you came over to my place. Through a mutual friend, and then we started playing Call of Duty 2, I think, or Call of Duty 3. It was one of the Call of Duty.
Call of Duty 3, I actually remember that.
Yeah. So Call of Duty 3. And that was, I think we bonded there, and then we ended up going to the same school, and then it's all been gravy ever since.
Yep.
Definitely. But we started playing together on that. I don't know which generation it is, but it's the PS3 generation. PS3, Xbox 360.
It has to be PS3 because, I mean, I remember we lived close enough that I would just go to your house, and I remember we would spend hours like on Halo 3, like edit mode.
Yeah,
Forge. Levels. Yeah, Forge. But yeah, PS3 was my first introductory to online.
Right.
So that was the first time I ever got to play online. So, yeah.
Okay, now I was originally going to transition into the second like subtopic of this. Growing up as a gamer, I was originally going to transition into what games we like, our favorite games.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's going to be a meaty conversation. Like that's going to be like 30 minutes alone. Yep. You'll be surprised how fast. Like right now we're at like 9 minutes.
Yeah. Before
you know it's going to be like an hour and a half.
I told you we're going to have too much to say.
Yeah. So I kind of want to transition while we still have the audience here. You know, people got short attention spans. Everybody's on TikTok and shit. They probably already clicked off. Yep. But this was going to be the original title of this. Again, I said it was a little clickbaity. Do you think that video games are a waste of time?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I guess like as an adult, because clearly when you're a kid, no. Enjoy, do whatever you want. even teenager while you're in school. But all right, let me give you my thoughts. I think they're as much of a waste of time as anything else. Any other hobby, you consider a waste of time.
Yeah.
If you're going out and playing basketball with your friends, you're like 25 years old, you missed the NBA.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're wasting your time. Wasting your time.
Yeah.
And of course, do whatever you want. Don't listen to me. You can spend your time however you want. But like getting closer to 30, it does start feeling a little more like when I start having those long gaming sessions, it feels like I could be doing something productive.
Yeah.
I could be doing something around the apartment. I could be doing all these things. And like that guilt is kind of like in the back of my head now, when before it wasn't. And that kind of plays into how my gaming habits are now, which we'll get into in just a little bit. But yeah, let me throw it back to you. In general, you think gaming is a waste of time?
That one's tough, man, because I mean, I felt like I grew up with parents making me feel like that way, right?
Right.
Like, like do something
That
else.
was the first thing I thought of, was just like parents nagging you that it's a waste of time.
The one argument I'll never like get over, like I remember my dad being like, you're playing too much video games, like watch a movie. I'm like, what?
Wait a second.
I'm like, what?
Just watch some cinema.
Yeah, and I'm like, at least a video game, I'm interacting, and that's the thing for me. Like for me, it's the interaction. So, are video games a waste of time? I mean, everything's a waste of time.
That's what I'm saying,
right?
yeah.
Like, I can spend an hour at the gym, and I can make the argument that it was a waste of time.
Right.
But then someone will argue, well, I'm progressing, my goals,
Your health, your
my
body.
health, my body, and you know what? I think about that too. I think like, time can definitely be better allocated in different ways. Like, especially as adults, like you said, we have so many things to do.
Right.
And,
and that's why, like, after a while, it's just like, well, you know what? This is my escape.
That's what I wanted to say.
Right.
Is that video games are a very healthy escape, in my opinion, right? There's a lot of things you could be doing that would put you in a worse position than, sitting on a screen playing a video game. Although I get, take care of your house. You know what I'm saying? Like you said,
make sure everything's done.
Exactly.
First. It's like make sure your homework's done.
Dude, don't be the gamer husband or boyfriend who's like not helping your lady. Get the house stuff done. Make sure that you have that time to do it after everything else is done. Sure,
right.
But a kind of quick little thing, because you mentioned this. Honestly, my answer is I don't think it's a waste of time, but there's times where I'm sure we're gonna get into like the kinds of games we play,
right.
But I'm super into strategy games, and there are specific strategy games that I kid you not can take 4 days, and I can spend like 8 hours every day.
Yeah,
like they are so long, and by the end of it, I'm like, why did I commit this much time?
You feel guilty,
dude. I mean, we have a mature audience, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is like, it's like post-nut clarity, bro. You're like, dude, why did I just spend 32 hours on like computers? It's not even people. Right. And it's like, but
did you win though? Like, do you at least win?
I mean, sometimes you win, or sometimes you go, what am I doing?
It's only when you lose when you feel that way.
Yeah, that's true. But even when you win, it's kind of like getting there was more enjoyable, right? Than it was the finale of it. So those moments, I definitely feel like, man, like, did I really, like, I always feel guilty when I dive. And it's so funny because it's almost like I'm a drug addict. Because anytime I think, like a strategy game I play, like Stellaris, it's like this space strategy game. I won't go crazy into it, but they put out expansions all the time. So then I'll go like, oh, cool. But then I have to think to myself, if I start this will be a 3-day endeavor.
And I'm the same way with just big games like RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
I play a lot less RPGs and just big.
I know you do.
50-hour games.
I had a bone to pick with you about that
really?
Subject. Yes, I do.
Okay. Jeez, I didn't realize you're coming at me like that. But now more than ever, because it's such a big investment. Like I know, like it's gonna take me 100 to 100 hours to get what I want out of this game, and just that number will just scare me away from it. I just don't have the time. Like I usually game like an hour or two a day now, if that. Sometimes on the weekend, if I have nothing to do, like you said, if everything's done, I've been a good boy, I could play like 5 hours.
Yeah.
But I'm not pulling these like 12-hour gaming sessions like I used to. And at one point when I was younger,
Oh,
I did the 24-hour stream. But without stream. This is like before streaming was big. I was in middle school, or I think high school. I'm not too sure, but I made it a goal. Like, I'm gonna play for 24 hours.
It felt like a stream to me because I remember I would like do something and then come back 10 hours later and I'd see you were still there and join the chat.
That's the funny thing is I didn't do it for anybody. I did it for me. I was I just want to do it, and I did it. But I think it was one of those things. I think it was Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. Maybe one of the Modern Warfares. I'm not too sure.
Black Ops was your shit. Like I would literally be like, "What it?" Like I can't even prestige. Like I'll never catch up to this guy.
Because before it was a race between like me and I remember Frank. Yeah. His gamer tag was Heelbug. Mm-hmm. I remember him like I was so ahead of everybody, and then he started catching up. I was like, I can't let him catch up to me. But before that's what Call of Duty was it was just a race almost. Like I kind of like made it a race with you guys, and I still play Call of Duty today, not as much, but I mean, yesterday I was playing Gun Game with Augie for like 3 hours. That was pretty fun. But yeah, I mean, to answer the question before we move on, I don't know if I was clear enough, but hard no. I don't think it's a waste of time. I did mention I think it's as much of a waste of time as everything else. That was my way of saying no, it's not. And for people who aren't gamers or older people, people our age that still don't understand, like it is a legit medium. Mm-hmm.
Hey, dude, I've always made the argument that it's the best medium.
And that leads us to my next question, which was, hey, Saul, are video games the best form of entertainment?
Yes. Dude, I mean, you have art. Like, I've made this argument to so many people. I'm like, think of any medium, you know? If you're a music guy, if you're like someone who reads books, you know, think of all the arts, writing, acting, film, you know, and then the technical side. Video games literally have them all. Yeah. Literally everything is in this. Like,
and now the budget for some of these games, I was looking at all the PlayStation games that just came out, like the last 4. They're all 200 million now. That's movie numbers.
Yeah. And I have things to talk about that maybe later. But yeah, I mean, to me it's definitely the best medium because you get to interact. And I guess my comment earlier, like I have a bone to pick about you with role-playing games is that I guess it's not really a bone to pick. It's just that
you said it twice, so it's a bone to pick.
It's just, you know, we've been friends for a very long time,
right?
And like the games that I am passionate about.
Are you breaking up with me? Is that what's happening right now?
The games that I've always been passionate about, you're just like, and you've always been someone.
Well, in that case, I got a bone too. Go ahead.
It's because like you have always had that mind. Like even before you started this, you've always had your list. You've always been someone who's like, you know, invested. You're looking at the bigger picture and all these things. And like when I think of like role playing games, like that's kind of my favorite genre. And I am the guy who's like 140 hours Witcher. Let's go. Yeah. Because it all stems back to my like Lego thing, right? Where, you know, I feel like if I put these pieces together, the Lego thing is because my imagination wasn't good enough. And now I got to see the things actually do stuff. And then when we talk about like, is it a waste of time? And we say, no, it's a form of escape.
Right.
I love those kinds of games because I get to be in a different world, right? I am fully immersed. Those are the best games to me when I'm fully immersed. And that's what role-playing games are to me. And that's why I was like, oh, like Gabriel never like you know, like Fallout 4, and you're like, yeah, I played like 20 hours.
That's plenty. That's plenty of time. I built a whole settlement, put some lighting in that shit.
I'm like, you need 200 hours.
That's what's crazy. It requires a lot of time. Yeah, those really are your favorite games, huh? Because Fallout, I tried Fallout 3 and 4, and I put plenty of hours, and they just don't connect with me like that.
Yeah,
I think because I like being told the story. Like I don't like even back when I was playing with my toys. Well, I guess before, because all my toys were like wrestling action figures. I used to tell my stories just fine, but it wasn't like it was me. It was I'm playing with, you know, they're there. I'm making the story, and I think that's what I've always enjoyed with story. And that kind of like leads me into my answer, where I like 50-50 with games and movies, because I think what the games I like the most are usually the ones that have a good story, like The Last of Us, God of War, especially like the newer PlayStation games. It wasn't until I don't know when something changed in my brain like 3 years ago, maybe like 2 years ago, definitely during COVID, when I started just playing more. Like I think when I played Bloodborne, because that game has a story, but who gives a shit?
Yeah,
that game's just a very difficult like video game video game, and it just connected with me, and I lost myself, and I put like 120 hours into it or something like that. I put a lot of hours, and I platinumed it. I platinumed Bloodborne. That's crazy.
Well, that's the other thing about you. You've always been a trophy guy. Like,
yeah.
I've never cared about trophies.
I think the PS4 era is when I started.
Yeah.
Because then PS3, I didn't care about trophies or achievements, nothing like that. But yeah, for the most part, I do enjoy being told a story. I just want to sit back and well, even with the game, like, I don't mind interacting, but I want to, like, all the gameplay is to lead, and I love getting like my time paid off with a good cutscene and progressing the story. I like single player linear games, and once in a while I'll dabble into like an RPG. But never in like the type where you make your own character and you go out there and it's a real like RPG. Not games like Assassin's Creed now that have RPG elements. Yeah. But like just straight up RPGs. I don't know. I guess I never really realized that until right now. But yeah.
I get it, because the structured stories a lot of times are better. Like I think of like the genre RPG can be interpreted in different ways. Like you're right. Like you creating a character, choosing perks and skills. Right. And
like you're actually role playing.
Yeah, like that's what we see traditionally. But I really started thinking about like Red Dead Redemption. You're role playing a cowboy, right? And they are telling you the story they are trying to tell you. And it's fantastic. It's a great story. And I don't have any problem with that. If anything, I'm almost frustrated at the games that try to be a little role playing ish, like Hogwarts Legacy. Right. I played through that whole thing. Me and my girlfriend both played it, and literally every dialogue option we chose opposite, and it made no difference. So why even give me the illusion that there's some kind of different choice or path? Yeah. Like just
because they want the RPG element.
Yeah,
that's it.
But I guess make them result in something. Like I'm playing.
It's just a lot of work too. Like they have to make all these different cutscenes, dialogue, endings.
That's very true.
But that's what it is. You know, like if you're making an RPG, that's what you're doing. You know the rules.
It's true. I guess that's why, certain studios, if that's in their DNA, that's in their DNA, right? Like Bethesda Studios, they're like 20 years. Okay. We'll work that long on it. But yeah, I guess that's
So your answer is yes, best medium.
Absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I also want to turn off my brain and just watch something, and maybe.
Damn.
What?
Just disrespecting movies entirely.
Well, it's not like that.
Some movies you do got to turn off your brain.
Yeah.
But.
I mean, okay, look, the movies that make me feel something are the best, but movies are difficult. I almost enjoy shows a little more than movies. Right. Because I get to spend more time with those characters. I get to see more. In a movie, it's like practice in 2 hours, make it meaningful. And have to like infer and know everything about what happened and these characters and everything.
Now, my answer is kind of like 50-50 with video games and movies. I kind of just bounce back and forth. I don't want to give you a cheap answer, though. So I think I am going to lean towards to video games, because that is genuinely how I like to spend my free time. Like, I don't, like, we're doing this and this is fun. And we're talking about movies and stuff, or we're talking about all the stuff we love. But I don't think I'll ever turn into like a content creator that's like streaming and all this, because like that's a me thing. Like, I'm playing these games and these stories for me. I don't want, like I mean, streaming's cool. I'll watch some people stream sometimes, but and there's just so many different types of games, like fighting games. Since you got a bone and pick with me, I would love to have more friends play fighting games with. All I have is Eric.
You ruined fighting games for everyone else.
Get good,
dude. In your friend circle, literally
everybody bought Mortal Kombat 2011. And now nobody's buying it.
I never even attempted to pick up a fighting game because you're such a monster at it. You just like you'll combo someone until start to finish. And like, that's it.
But that's the point, is like you put in the work behind the scenes, and then like I'll face somebody who's just button mashing. Like, you're never gonna beat me. Like I know
I'm that button masher, dude.
And that's the thing. Like, you actually do have to put the time in. But you see it reflected,
fair.
And it's. Dude, competitive multiplayer, like it was the original multiplayer, like back in the day, right? Arcades and all that.
I see it definitely, because I mean,
it's 1v1, no excuse.
Yeah, but like, okay, like like in my work, they put up events. I have coworkers who set up events at bars and casinos. Like, it definitely, like, I see them. To me, maybe I'm not respecting them that genre of game. I know that I'm not, because I'm like, it's just a fighting game, right? But it's because I'm not good at it. But when I see them talk about like, oh yeah, like, you know, not just combos, but timings.
Right.
You know,
footsies.
All these little elements and how they're like in their minds, like stacking each other up. Like, oh, this guy's really good at this with this character. And this guy's really...
And that's the thing is it's just a puzzle.
Yeah.
But you're actively, you know, trying to solve the puzzle. But then at the same time, you know, you're going up against another human. You can get in their head and make them do stuff that, you know, that's why the fighting games are so good. And they are getting bigger. They are getting bigger. Like Evo's getting bigger. The fighting game tournament, like they are more popular now than probably ever. Yeah. Besides maybe the arcade days. I don't know. I don't have numbers or anything. But yeah, like my personal friend circle, it's just me and Eric. Yeah. And he only plays Mortal Kombat. Well, I guess my friend George too, but we rarely play fighting games together. He's more into like the Street Fighter, and I'm not. Yeah, I'm definitely a Mortal Kombat guy.
And then that's the thing. There's like the different fighting games.
Yep.
You know,
but once you start playing a couple, you start
picking them all up.
Yeah, like they speak a similar language. Like
2D, 3D.
3D fighters, I'm not. All right, like Tekken. People like Tekken. That's a 3D fighter. I'm not into that either. 2D is definitely my way to go. But
I'm just not a fighter.
I'm just not a fighter. Oh shit!
That's why I play a role playing game.
I was about to say, well, what game is that? You know, love on the AI. Okay, well, last question before I move on. So you really like anime? So okay, why you say yeah? Are you just not? You're trying not to sell it?
You're throwing me out.
He loves anime. Like that's his thing. Like we were gonna have a topic on anime or Star Wars. Those like the two things I think of with you. But then I thought video games, it was kind of like a good way to start because that's how our relationship started. But anime, does it not even come close to video games, or is it close?
You know, I do love anime, but I feel like I'm around people who love anime way more than me. And
oh, you feel like a fraud?
I don't feel like a fraud. It's just that I feel like I apply a lot of what like a good anime immerses me, right? Right. A good anime tells me a story and then stops telling me the story. You know, if I ask my girlfriend, she loves an anime that'll never end, you know? Yeah. And I'm like,
no, I'm with you. You know, stories need to end.
Yeah, stories need to end. And you know what? Like, I like, you know, anime is a cool medium because they are not scared to take risks. Like, they'll tell weird ass stories, like the whole genre of like Born Again. They'll be like, born again as a high school girl in a magical world with the knowledge that I had as a 30-year-old man. Like, what? But that's like,
the thing with anime is they're not afraid to get weird. As a matter of fact, it's usually always weird.
I think we've had a conversation before where I'm like, you know, because you've seen Naruto, you're more of a Naruto person than I am, but like the plot twist and things that happen in that show, it's kind of like, I feel like in anime doesn't happen in other mediums. Like they're genuinely putting out new ideas and things that they just do, you know? I feel like, you know, maybe this is another conversation, but part of the reason I have no idea how anime is funded, a lot of it comes from manga first. And obviously writing format and that is much cheaper. But that's the cool thing is that when you're worried about a multi-million-dollar budget movie, it has to succeed. Right. A multi-million-dollar budget video game, it has to succeed. Some guy writing a manga in his, you know, in his room, you know, like you starting.
Not a lot of risk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's not a lot of money. There's not a lot of risk. So that's what I like about that is they kind of have that structure of like, you know, we just try this, and people love the you know, the manga format. It'll be adapted into an anime, and then if you're cursed enough, you'll be adapted into live action.
I was about to bring that up, where like I'm not the biggest anime guy, and I only like the popular ones: Dragon Ball, Naruto,
Shonen.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm a shonen hater. I feel like I am. You should watch. Have you seen Demon Slayer?
Okay, I thought you were about to name some weird obscure shit. No. I was gonna say, of course not, but no. But it is one of those that I wish I had more time for. Yeah. That one, Attack on Titan, I know is a big one.
There's like, I feel like I'm a anime hipster. If
if the
masses like it, which mostly are shonen, I'll be like, you know, it's whatever. Like, you know, you should watch this. But with that said, like Demon Slayer is definitely like mass. Like everyone likes it. Yeah, it's really good.
The animation looks incredible.
Yeah,
but I mean, Titan too. Well, to bring it back to like the best form of entertainment thing, the thing with anime is that you are able to animate them, or just animation in general. You are able to like to go big with it, like the facial expressions, the action, like just everything. You're able to go big, make it look crazy. Not just in terms of like fighting scenes or anything, but just like actual animation, how it looks, how beautiful it looks, the colors, the art style, and then you get a Netflix adaptation that looks like that. Why are people watching these?
I don't know.
Because that's the only reason why they're making them, because they're making money. Maybe they're cheap to make, so then all the hate views get them money. I don't know.
Maybe. That's a good point. Because I would think, like, you know, you're an executive or someone who makes big decisions at Netflix. Do you really think, like, I tend to think the executives don't know shit. I feel like they just follow the money. So maybe you're right. Maybe they go, you know, anime for so long has been like a closeted community, and now it's like way more open. But because it's been a closeted community, the fans are like diehard. So they'll support anything. So I think, you know, if you love Naruto and they live action 12 movies about it, you'll probably watch them. Maybe. Who knows?
I don't think I would, but that's a conversation for another day. And that was our talk on anime. Like and subscribe and share.
Watch Cyberpunk.
Oh, we can't get into it. That's another conversation. I finished it though. I liked it. Now moving on. I think I'll save, because of the way that our conversation's going, I'm pushing the video game talk, like actual favorite video games, all the way to the end.
Okay.
So next question, and this is my last one before we go into our favorite video games, is, again, this is called Growing Up as a Gamer. We'll talk about our favorite games growing up, but now, what are your gaming habits like? We talked a little bit about that, how like I'm more like trepidatious. Look at that. Throwing out big words for you.
Trepidatious.
I'm a little trepidatious
Okay.
to play like RPG games because I don't really have the time.
That's fair.
So is there anything like that for you? Like how have your gaming habits changed as you're getting older? Are you playing less? Are you playing more? What types of games are you playing?
I'm in gaming limbo.
And what do you mean by that?
Like right now, I'm very into like technical stuff. Like, you know, I've been
Tetris.
No.
I got really into Tetris.
I feel like I've divorced myself from consoles, you know? Like I went, you know, PS3, PS4. I have a PS5. I've had a PS5 since it came out.
That shit's all dusty.
It's dusty. I don't touch that thing.
You could have sold that shit for so much, like even a year ago, but like 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
but
whatever.
I'm a full on PC, you know?
Right.
And
that's where we split up, was because I stayed on console and then you went to PC and you felt bad about it. You kept trying to get me to get a PC. You still do. You're gone. You messed up. I didn't change. You did.
You know, it is sad because like we have like a little community like in Discord and stuff with like my friends who are on PC. But like I think my best time playing video games was with you guys like on PlayStation. And it's not a diss on the people on the Discord, but it is because we just don't play games together. We just sit in Discord together. You know what I mean?
I was just telling Jets, my girlfriend, for those who don't know, that we used to do that with like the PlayStation Eye. We all bought PlayStation Eye cameras. And this was before you could play and be in a group chat on PS3, where like if you want to be in a group chat, you had to leave the game. And we would go to the group chat after gaming and then all turn on our cameras.
That's so funny because I was literally just telling Ingrid, my girlfriend, about that yesterday. And I was like, yeah, we had to just like, you know, we just sat in there. But I feel like the way my gaming habits have changed is, one, I'm way more technical. Like I'm buying things like the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, and they're like handheld PCs, and they're the closest thing to a console now that I'm using, because I'm just like...
And you use that a lot?
I don't.
Okay.
That's the thing.
That's the thing that always stops me from buying a handheld. It's just like, I'm at home, I'm going to play.
It's like I know that about myself, but I keep buying it because I think that I'm going to live this lifestyle where I'm traveling all the time. And I'm just going to whip this.
That's always the first thing you think of, like when I'm on the road, Jesse's going to be driving the car. No, it's not.
You're the one driving.
We're not going to do that.
So it's like when I'm on the airplane, and then I'm on the airplane, I get motion sickness from playing on
that's the thing too.
So, but that's why I'm saying I've become someone who's more like, I want to see what this can do. Can I play Cyberpunk, which was like barely running on PS4, on this handheld? Like, you know, this is where I know
you're more interested in the technology.
Yeah, we like diverge a little bit. I'm like, that processor is capable of that, the RAM, this, that. So that's how it's changed a little bit. Like I'm doing tests, I'm seeing like performance, I'm doing that kind of stuff. But also, you know, to take it a turn on like how my gaming habits have changed, like I think they've changed in a way that are kind of sad to me, because gaming was community, you know, and not to dive too much back into like, is it the best medium? The thing that I think we forget a lot is like, you know, we met friends from like Canada. We met friends from like,
Dr. Aquafresh.
Dr. Aquafresh, Shadow Neji.
Yeah.
We met people from all over the place. And I know maybe that can seem scary or whatever, but my point is that it's a community and it's like, we expect to see each, like, we'll be on the,
right
at this time.
And again, like that's how our friendship started. And not just ours, like a lot of my friends, like Andy, I started with him on PS3. Like our first conversation was about, hey, we both pulled it off at the same time.
Who vibrated?
Mine and his relationship started just because he gave me his gamer tag. Or
I always used to make this joke about like almost all my like male friendships.
Yeah, mine too.
Have straight up just been because of video games. I was never a sports guy. I was never a guys guy.
Yeah.
I was never like if you play video games, we can be friends. Right. That's simple.
And it's not like we only played video games yet. Like we all hung out. We all went to school together until we went to different high schools. But like we hung out. We had birthday parties, especially you had a lot of birthday parties. But like, it's not like it ruined the social aspect. I feel like people think that gamers are just not social and they all live in their mom's basement.
I think it enhances because it's kind of like it's like training wheels in a way, right? Like you get
social training.
It is because you're at home, you're in the safety of your room and this and that, and you get to interact with people online. And then if you happen to know them in person, then you hang out and stuff.
Like with Luis.
Yeah, Luis.
I met him through PlayStation, which is his friend. I met him through PlayStation as I think Flame Slaughter was his name, right? And then I finally met him in person, and then I felt like I knew him,
exactly.
without knowing what he looked like.
Yeah, because you're talking to these people so much, you're getting a taste of who they're like and this and that, and so I feel like that's the habit that I wish would go back because.
But I think that's just part of growing up, right? Like, you don't think kids are still doing that now? Like,
I'm sure they are, but I think it's like a bigger problem. I think like not to get to like society and philosophical and stuff, but I feel like people in general, like we're like interacting less, and maybe it's a product of us getting older,
right?
But like that's something that I feel is kind of sad, right? Like I feel like my social circle is much smaller. Like we don't see each other that often.
But you don't think that's just growing up?
I don't know. I mean,
because I think the main part is just time.
Yeah, it is time, but it's also it's energy too.
Yeah.
Like I felt like sitting through class was not as hard as working 8 hours a day, right?
Right.
And so I think we were neighbors at one point. How many times did we visit each other? You
see, that's different though. Like, we were neighbors in middle school.
That's true. But I guess
what else were we gonna do?
I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is like I'm not trying to say like everyone needs to be seeing each other all the time because I'm definitely the guy who's gonna flake first. I'm the guy who's like, dude,
you're not a flaker, at least with me.
Oh, I'm not a flaker, but I'm not like I can't wait to see someone. Yeah. I am very like my social
if it happens,
needs.
It happens.
Yeah, I mean, if I want to make it happen, I'll make it happen. But I feel like maybe I'm not making it happen as often as I should.
Right.
And then video games is the lowest effort version of that. Because like I'll turn my computer on and I won't go on Discord. Even though Ruben's sitting there.
Yeah.
And it's like, why not? Like,
well, you see, I think that we also just have too much access to each other. I'm the opposite of you on this. I think your issues are we're getting old. We're almost 30, all of us. I think. Could be wrong. You could be right. But I just think too many people have access to each other where like some people, where it's a good point. Just because you see me online doesn't mean I even want to talk to you, like sometimes like I told you, like gaming for me as an adult has kind of become just like a me thing.
Yeah.
Where like, if you want to play with me, let me know ahead of time. I'll get on and I'll play. If I have time, but like if I'm just on, it's very rare that like somebody will just invite me to a game and I'm just like, okay, I'm down.
You got my brain thinking. I think you bring up a really good point because that's true. Like we can't expect to be like as involved as we were growing up, right?
Right.
And you're right. We have our own lives, and you're right. Like you answered my own question. The reason I don't get on the Discord is because I just want to.
You just want to chill.
Yeah, I want to be
work with stressful or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, just
or maybe you just don't want to. It's true. That simple. You're just like, I just don't want to right now. I don't want to.
I just feel like I haven't played a multiplayer game with any friends in so long. Like if I play Call of Duty, it's by myself.
Right.
Like the PC guys, they'll pick up the game, they'll play for a week, and then it's like. That's it.
Right.
So I guess
that's a game like we could play with each other.
Yeah.
But we also don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing keeping me on Call of Duty right now is Augie. Once again, my brother, for those who don't know. He tells me ahead of time. Like he'll text me like a couple times, like yo, you getting on? And then I'll just be like, all right, I'll get on. Or like even if I don't, like he'll ask me the next day. Like he stays consistent with it. Where eventually I'm just like, all right, I got to get on with Ollie. He's been asking me for a couple of days. Like I'm making time for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think part of that, if not most of that, is just us getting older.
That's fair. Yeah, I could see that.
I would love if somebody's like listening to this podcast and just like, where the fuck are the games? Why are they talking about growing old? I mean, that's the point of the podcast, though. It's like growing up with video games.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're getting old. It's getting harder to play. But with that being said, like for my gaming habits, I do lean more towards single player games, and even then, like games, even though they only went up $10, $70 might as well be 100.
Yeah,
like
a lot of times I buy the $100 one because I'm like,
no, like,
what's the extra thing that I get?
Like, I'm gonna buy DLC.
Yeah,
I might as well.
They'll be like, oh, you'll get the first DLC for free, right? Or like I'm thinking like Starfield. Like Starfield's gonna be free on Xbox Game Pass,
right?
And I was like, oh, cool. But then they're like, oh, but if you buy the $100 version, you get to pay 5 days early. And I'm like, I want to play 5 days early.
That's 5 days. I could take a couple days off work.
Yeah. See, I think that's where we do differ a little bit but I feel like I ruined the experience for myself because like I remember when Red Dead came out, I literally was like, I'm gonna take 4 days off. I'm gonna play this game 16 hours a day every day until I beat it.
Right.
And I like feeling myself in that world.
See,
but that
no, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
I'm just saying, like, but I guess, maybe that's not healthy and that's not realistic also, right? Like now I'm at the point where I probably won't take off work to do this, but it depends.
I'll do it on a big game.
Yeah.
So I'll do it like Mortal Kombat 1 is coming out this year. I'm doing it for that. Like I'm taking at least like 1 day. If it comes out on Thursday or something, hopefully it comes out on Thursday. And then I'll take Friday off and, I'll play all weekend.
Yeah.
So I'll still do it for the games like Last of Us. I remember I took a day off work for that and it made it my whole weekend.
Yeah.
And it was a depressing ass weekand. And we can talk about that later when we start talking about our favorite games. But yeah, as far as gaming habits go, as I already mentioned plenty of times, lean less towards like RPGs, play more single player games when they do drop, but that's probably like 2 or 3 times a year. What I've been doing the past couple of years is for like a summer sale, I'll buy like 4 or 5 games, like single player games from the previous year, and I'll just catch up that way. So like normally like throughout end of summer, early fall, maybe even like up to winter, I'll catch up on a bunch of things that I missed. And as far as just a day to day, I'll play a multiplayer game again if somebody tells me to get on, but it is hard to find that motivation to one, fight that guilt of like, I could be doing something else.
Yeah.
But also like, there's just, I'm not buying games because they're more expensive. Like there's just not much to play that gets me excited.
Yeah, my brain, I remember growing up, like I'd be like, I already knew all the games I was excited for. Right. We would like watch E3, like, oh yeah, I can't wait for this, can't wait. E3 doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, E3 died. I mean, now they have Summer Game Fest where everybody has a conference now, but that changes everything. Like E3 was like 1 or 2 days, but just like the one that had Xbox, Ubisoft, EA, PlayStation, like back to back to back. Those were events. Like we would hang out and watch those. Yeah, but it died.
It did die,
and they killed it.
Yeah. Oh well.
Like the industry did. E3 would love to have them back, but the industry was just like, nah, I want to do my own thing.
I wanted to like talk about the industry a little bit. I don't know if we'll have time.
Oh, we definitely have time. We go as long as we want.
Industry trends. I feel like it falls in line with a lot of what we're talking about. And one of the things is these companies are fighting for our time, right? Yeah. I remember, I think around the time the PS4 just came out, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's when Destiny came out. And I remember thinking like we had like part-time jobs because it was like had to go on Destiny to do the daily, had to do Fortnite, do their daily, had to do this, how to do like you're jumping between games. And I've never been like a game jumper. I'm always like I'm playing this game. That's what you're doing, this is the one game that I care about. This is the one game I play. So I feel like, man, like it's so hard because everyone wants to do games as a service, and that's so annoying to me now. Like the only one game that's been consistent for so long for me is Call of Duty. I still buy it every year. I play it. I like the grind, even if it's just for me. I like unlocking all the guns.
Yeah, it's fun. At least, maybe not prestige, but at least go all the way to the end.
But now it's like Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5. And I'm like, dude.
It's a turnoff. That turned me off to Overwatch 2 because they turned to a battle pass system.
Yeah.
Instead of like loot boxes, you were able to play, get in-game currency, get loot boxes, get cosmetics. And then they changed it to battle pass because everybody is doing Battle Pass.
Yeah.
And it just turned me off to it completely, where I'm just like, I don't want to feel like I have to play or else I'm going to miss out on a skin.
Exactly.
And same thing with Call of Duty and just everything. Like you said, they're fighting for time, but I think most importantly, they're fighting for your Battle Pass.
Yeah.
Your Battle Pass time. You know, like, because now I feel like I had my Fortnite Battle Pass, my Overwatch, my Call of Duty. I was just like, you know what?
Yeah.
How about I play none of you?
Yeah.
How about I just go back to Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, I feel like my biggest criticism with like the way the industry has changed. I know we've talked about this. Like AA games don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
you know.
Dude, do you remember like in the PS2 era? Even like everybody had a game. Like every movie had a video game.
just
and even like PS3 era, like you had like those.
I wonder if they saw video games as marketing. You know.
I mean, definitely. That's definitely part. But like they actually tried to make a game. Like they weren't all shitty.
That's
like
true.
The Spider-Man, like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man games were actually, trying.
Yeah.
And they're telling a different story too.
Yeah, because now, like how we mentioned, like these games have such huge budgets, like they can't fail. And I'm telling you, like my view of executives, they're just like money, 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 money. You know, like do you play mobile games?
Not at all.
Me neither.
Those aren't video games,
right?
Those are applications. And if you play mobile games, you're not a gamer.
This is where we gatekeep, right here. Mobile gamers.
I'm here to double down. That shit is a 2-pack of ass.
Mobile
the fuck
gamers.
are you talking about? That shit's thick.
Mobile
That's one thing we could
gamers
agree on,
ruined the industry. And I'll tell you why.
Money, that's why.
Money.
Yeah.
Dude, they spend like crazy because it's natural. It's normal to them there.
And it feels wrong. Like, it feels like a casino. Like the way that they bait you into all this shit.
I mean, that's why all these things get brought up, like loot boxes, like random stuff, and like that. How is like, oh, it's not gambling because it's not real money. You're using a currency that you bought with real money. So how is it not gambling?
Right.
And then it's like for us, like as gamers, like our habits, they matter too, right? Like we'll buy the skin because like it's just cosmetic.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you're right. Like as long as it doesn't affect the game, you know, like.
Oh, I bought a shitload of Fortnite skins. That I feel guilty about. But even then, like a Miles Morales skin came out the other day, and I was like, I gotta get that shit.
I get it. The skins, they're definitely like Apex for me was one of those like free to play games, and I love the experience because it's one of those games where there's not really a grind, there's nothing, and you really do need friends to play with. So that's the last time I really got to play with friends. And it's like, it's cool because you develop a strategy, you this, you that, and it's like a reset every time. And a game like that, that's free. And I think you're the one who brought this argument and made me spend money because I was like, Gabriel's right. The game was free. If I spent a couple of dollars on skins, like.
But you could go too far with it.
Yeah,
too.
Definitely.
I feel like if you spend up to 60, it's like, okay, I bought a $60 game.
There you go.
But
yeah, but they're always coming out with new skins. And then the thing is, like, I started looking at it like if I'm putting this much time into the game, then it's worth this much money that I'm willing to put in. But the thing is, like, it's so funny because skins become like fashion. Oh, you're wearing last season's skins.
I never got into that.
I felt that way.
Yeah,
they got me there.
That's a you thing. but that is part of it, right?
Yeah,
like they're playing with you mentally. They're playing with you financially.
But I guess my thing is like I feel like game developers, they want their passions out there, but too many stories about game released too early. You know,
that's happening a lot more lately.
It's because it's becoming accepted and normal. Right. It's like the launch is the demo, and like we'll patch it after a year. It'll be good. Look at Cyberpunk. Took 2 years, and now they're like their DLC's like Cyberpunk 2.0. You know, it's gonna be everything's been changed. Right. You know, repackage it, $55.
Well, their thing, like specifically, they delayed that game so much. I feel like somebody pressured them into being like,
the executives.
Yeah.
And I get it. Look, again, it's a lot of money. You need to put out money. You know, like, but it's just, I guess it makes me a little sad because a lot of the IPs that I liked, Mass Effect, you know, like Cyberpunk, like all these, like even the Bethesda games, it's always been like. They're dying because of these decisions because the executives want Apex money. They want mobile money. They're like, look at what this studio's doing.
Even PlayStation, which is like obviously my favorite publisher. But like they're transitioning into a lot of new multiplayer games. Where the hell's the Last of Us factions? But regardless, they're showing all these new multiplayer games and like they're pivoting to that.
Yeah.
I think they'll always have a place for single player, but all the big single-player games are announcing are sequels. Horizon sequel, God of War sequel, Ghost of Tsushima sequel. Not announced yet, but it will be. Spider-Man sequel. And that era, like, they're all being sequels because, like, they all had, like, a really good first game. Like Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon. Well, those are risks. Those are established studios that are doing something new and creative. So hopefully that doesn't go away. but
I
it's
hope.
it's kind of looking scary. And you're right, Double A's gone.
Yeah, they're kind of like the last hope, because when the acquisition started happening, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe Xbox buying Bethesda. They say, you know what, Bethesda, don't worry about it. Don't worry about money.
We got you.
Spend it. You need to take extra time, and they did. Like Starfield, I think it came out a year or two. Is a 1 or 2 year added to make sure the game is as good as it can be before it comes out, and I appreciate that. But yeah, when PlayStation makes that pivot and it's like, oh, we want more multiplayer, we want more games as a service, like that's really what they want. Ultimately, is they want your time, your money, and it's like you're competing against all these different games. So that's the part of me that makes me a little sad, right? That I'm like, man, like I wish that games were all like more passionate. But I think we've talked about this too. Double A's died, but indie has like
that's
risen,
what I want to
like,
mention
crazy.
too, because indie games lately have been some of my favorite. Like even Fall Guys is a multiplayer game, but it is an indie, and like they got bought out by Epic Games, but still like the creative ideas like that. Like there was a dodgeball one, Knockout City. So, like again, these are multiplayer, but even like single player games like Cuphead. All these original games with unique art styles, unique feels.
Yeah.
Indie's doing it, and like you do have to search harder. Like Double A is dead, but indie games might as well be. And that's the thing with indie is like it could be a really cheap game, or it could be on the higher tier of indie, like almost a full realized game.
I feel like if IPs allowed themselves to be picked up by more indie developers, we would get a game for every movie that comes out.
Right?
Because indie developers, man, they're like, they're trying to grab for anything, you know what I mean? So if they
want to survive,
if they can attach Star Wars to their indie game, oh hell yeah, But it's like Star Wars only wants to go for the AAA, and the AAA are like just fumbling. Like, dude, like EA is probably my biggest disappointment because they have so many IPs that I love, and it's like they just keep fumbling it, and it's so frustrating.
You like the new Star Wars, right?
Yeah, it was really good.
Hey, besides that one,
I really like that Star Wars, but
even that game came out a little broken too. Though.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The only thing I didn't like was the technical stuff. Like its performance. Even on a PC was really bad. So that was really my only takeaway. Once I got past that, the story was amazing and the gameplay was really fun. I just feel like there's less players. So like that's a little sad too. Like EA's like will someone buy us?
Oh, less players as in like the big players.
Yeah, the big players. Because like I'm like publishers are your enemy, but the game developers, and it's sad too because a lot of times the backlash is the game devs who get the backlash, and it's like, dude, they're just doing a job,
right?
And it's
like they are the creative minds that want to make something fun.
That's why a lot of them will leave and start their own studios or do indie stuff because they're like, dude, this environment is just like we can't be creative, we can't thrive, we don't have the time, and it's like Like I think if like Rockstar, the more I've thought of time and their consistency has made me think like, man, like they do it right, They don't care. I mean, to an extent, I have thoughts on that. Like if we're gonna transition to our favorite games,
we can go ahead and transition now. Because we're gonna go into our favorite games. Go for it. I have an order of like beginning, like from early to like now. But go ahead and
I almost want to look at it in two different ways because I'm like, is your favorite game the one you spent the most time in, or is your favorite game the one that's most memorable?
That's all on you.
Yeah,
that's your list.
Because one thing I wanted to say, because we're kind of
do you have a list, or do you just want to talk about a couple?
I don't have a list, but I know the ones that I want to bring up.
Okay,
so like because we're kind of on the subject, I'm talking about Rockstar. Grand Theft Auto 5,
and just Grand Theft Auto in general. That's on at least one of them is on like everybody's list.
Oh yeah, GTA. I mean, is like it's been so much fun. GTA 5 though is one of those games that like it's still around. It's been I don't know how many years. I bought
10, right,
dude.
2013 was like the year that PlayStation 4 came out.
Dang.
And it came out in 2013 right before.
Well, it came out on because I had it on PS3.
That's what I'm saying.
I bought it on PS4. And then I bought it on PC. But it slowly became that thing that I hated though. That's the sad thing. Because I loved GTA Online. That's obviously what was keeping me around. I passed the story.
Even that turned me off because like you gotta work to get money.
Yeah.
Like, that felt like a job too where
dude,
let me just hop on and have fun.
I gotta tell you. Yeah, you're right. Because when we played GTA 4, it was nothing but mayhem.
We would just like hop onto like the open world and then just be like, what now?
Yeah.
Spread out, go. We'll just figure out something to do.
The derbies.
Yeah, demolition derbies, man.
That's so crazy. And it's funny because GTA 5 gave us more tools to do that kind of stuff than
Yeah.
anything. But
for some reason, something just turned us
didn't.
off.
Yeah. I mean, I stayed on for a long time. Like, I got expansion after expansion. It finally hit me when I remember I was like, dude, I was rushing home from work during my lunch to like resupply one of my bunkers so that it could keep like generating money and stuff. And then I would go back. So I was like AFK playing the game. And I realized like this game has every element that I hate now. Things are RNG. Yeah. Things are taking real time and real money. That's it. I can't play this anymore. I used to criticize Ruben all the time because those are the kind of games he would play. Right. And I'm like, I can't play a game like that. That's not fun. That's not a fun game.
And you found the one that clicked with you.
Yeah. And GTA, because it wasn't always like that. That update turned it like that. Like there were some elements there, like the money, but the time and the RNG, once those things got added, I was like, I can't play this anymore. Like it's literally become everything I hate in the industry. So I haven't played GTA since. Like, obviously, I'm excited for the next GTA. You know, I hope.
Yeah, like, I'm going to get back in. Everybody's going to get back in on that one.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do with it.
But GTA, obviously, like, very memorable. I enjoyed it. We spent a lot of good times playing, you know.
But even, like, on the PS2 days, like, Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas.
It's crazy. GTA is a staple. Like, if you haven't played GTA, I mean, I don't know. Like,
like everybody has.
Yeah.
Especially the PS2 era.
You want to know how prominent GTA is? When I would go to Mexico, and keep in mind, like the you know where my parents are from, it's not like some thriving city. It's like it's a little pueblo, and the arcades there, joysticks and buttons, had GTA San Andreas.
How?
I'm trying to remember how. It must have had them, but we must have been able to use the Xbox.
Unless there's like two, that way like one's like had to aim.
But I remember like just putting my pesos in there and just freaking playing San Andreas. Like,
okay, so we'll go back and forth. One game I want to talk about that's very special to both of us is a Little Big Planet.
Oh man,
I love Little Big Planet. Like it's like top 3 game of all time.
Yeah.
For me. Now I bought the first one on PS3. Like I got on my PS3, I bought that game. Played it. Played through the story. It's a platformer, and you can also like create levels for those who don't know. And all I did was beat the story as a platformer, and it was really fun. I really liked it. And then you told me like, oh yeah, like I heard about the game. Like you can make stuff in there. I was like, oh yeah, like I haven't touched that, whatever. Like, can I borrow it? And then you borrowed it. And this is like, again, when I'm in 7th, you're in 6th. You borrowed it, and then whatever. I didn't even think about it. And I went over to your house, your parents' house, and then you showed me all the cool shit that you made, and I was just like, I need my game back. And then you bought it. Yeah. And then I got it on my end, and then and just all the stuff you can make. Yeah. All like the tools you can use like creatively. It really like opened up the creativity in my brain for the first time.
We could have been engineers. That could have been a launch pad.
For real. Yeah. I think about that too. Not as far as engineers. I'm just like, I could do something with this. And even like stuff for the podcast, like editing and stuff like that. A lot of tools, or like not some of the tools, but a lot of the things you have to, terminology, and just the things you have to like the way you problem solve. I've used those elements and techniques on like editing like the videos for today.
Little Big Planet should be taught in public schools,
right? 6th grade. Give them a couple sticks.
Like math would be so much less boring like that, right?
For real. Yeah. And then Little Big Planet 2 was like the one where everybody bought.
Everybody.
Like, even my friends that don't play games like that.
Ooh, sorry, we already have 4 people in the
party. Just the charm that it had and the memories, everything about it is incredible. It does suck that that's not something they continued to do.
Yeah.
Media Molecule, the developer, went on to make a game called Dreams, which is a lot more advanced. And you would think that it would hit, but I think what made Little Big Planet successful is the charm of it, like the personality of the music. Like it was a game, and you could make other games where Dreams is kind of just an engine, and it didn't have a soul.
Yeah.
So I hope they can go back and make Little Big Planet 4.
Yeah, that's for the engineers. Yeah, you know, Little Big Planet was for like the wannabe engineers. Yeah. I mean, I loved Little Big Planet, and I can't. Dude, I mean, talking about skins, that was like the first introduction of skins to me.
That's true. They're like $1 skins.
Like every IP was in that game. Yeah. Marvel. Was Star Wars in there? I don't even remember.
I want to say yes, just because it makes sense, but I don't remember.
But
they had a bunch. Marvel was the big one. They kept coming back with more skins, and
I just remember like obsessing over like I remember because you know how we could build terrain. There was like 3 layers.
Yeah.
I remember there was like a story mission where like a lowrider was like very bouncy.
Oh yeah.
And I spent like multiple days. I'm like, I want to build a suspension, not a car. Not like I want to focus so much on the tire and the spring and the tension because you can adjust all these things and then on a platform and then I'll worry about the shape of the vehicle. And
that's how you were. You were like very technical. You would make stuff.
Yeah.
And I was making levels.
Yeah.
And then you would come to my level with your stuff like a giant nuke or something, and then all of a sudden the whole level breaks.
That thing was like my pride and joy. I just remember thinking like, holy shit.
It would legit give an error on the screen and be like, everybody got kicked out.
I made something in this game that the poor PlayStation 3 could just not handle. And it would just kill everyone's like.
And all it was like a little box or something. It was like something tiny.
It was I made it look like a nuke. And basically all it was.
Oh, that's right. It was a giant, huh?
It was giant, but honestly, it didn't have to be big. I remember later my like revision 3.0.
The bombs that are in it are little boxes, huh?
The bombs were round, but the thing was that the reason this would mess up your consoles was because I'm inside the bomb there was like a primer, but it was an emitter that would emit like unlimited bombs.
Yeah.
So the bombs would not stop. And because the physics of this game was so crazy and everything was so destructible, literally every time the things would blow up, it would just create more chaos.
Right.
And the PlayStation just couldn't handle that. It just couldn't handle all that destruction. And it would freeze
and
everyone's PlayStation.
You could just rewind. Like you would put it down, I'd have to rewind and then pause it. That way it doesn't blow up
evil.
again.
This is the equivalent. I never had a Minecraft era. I don't know if you ever played.
No.
But this is the equivalent of like when you and your friends are in Minecraft and you build this awesome place and that one friend sets it all on fire.
Yeah. But there's no rewind on Minecraft, right?
Rewind, you're just an asshole.
All right. Next up, you have any more?
Damn.
I mean, if you want to talk about like us games, like the games that we played together, Max Payne 3.
Oh my god!
Do you remember that first week? It was some of the best gaming we ever had because if you haven't played Max Payne, it's a shooter.
The second you said Max Payne, my brain immediately had a flashback of like the slow action. I think it was you, and I had an RPG.
Yep, that's my first memory too.
It's just like
because again, for those who don't know, it's a third-person shooter, but and the story's fine, whatever. You're able to play online, and unlike other online games where like if you could do slow-mo, it's only like you or something like this. If you went slow-mo, it was whoever was around you. It was like an invisible bubble.
Yeah.
So you could guys could both dive at each other and shoot. And then I remember you had an RPG. You dove at me, shot, but I dove over it and I had a shotgun and I shot you in the face. Max Payne 3 was awesome. I mean,
it was so good.
Some of these games just have to die, and I know that's how it is. But man, I wish we could just capture that
slow-mo mechanic, which is dramatic, like all the way back to the Lego Star Wars, man. It recaptures that imagination because things happen so fast in video games that later back in our brains we feel and think it a certain way, and that did it. That's literally applied the slow mo to give that dramatic effect, and we're just like
because it gave you time to think too. We're like, okay, it's slow mo. What am I gonna do? And it was like we played it maybe for like a month, but man, was it a good month? Yeah,
it was so fun. That game was so good. You think they'll ever do anything with that IP?
I don't know. Rockstar has like a bunch of cool IPs. I wish they did stuff with, like Midnight Club. Like that's one of the staples for PS2 for me.
I feel like almost like if you just integrate everything you had about Midnight Club in a GTA, people would be happy. You know, if you just
and that's what I felt like. GTA has such like realistic driving now, or kind of. It's still a little arcadey, but where I think that they think it's a little redundant to just make a car game when they could just make the driving better in Grand Theft Auto. Yeah,
almost like just GTA, and then it's like I don't know if I like that idea. I was gonna say kind of like it's an engine and you do what you want, right? Because it kind of is that, but it not fully. Yeah, it's weird. But
I mean, while you think about other games, like another Mass Effect, that's one for you. I have nothing to say on that. But Mass Effect, I remember being special because it wasn't RPG, but it would remember every decision. Every decision. It remember all your decisions from the last game and then build off of that for part 2 and part 3.
I mean,
I never played it, but that seemed cool.
Yeah, it goes back to what I said before. Like the games that immerse you are the best. And the thing is that I had played like Bethesda RPGs, and then BioWare, when I played, Mass Effect, it felt like another layer because the NPCs knew your decisions. They they responded to your actions, and then your actions had consequences, and there was all this stuff, and the characters were really cool, and you're like, you're the captain of this crew, and you can go do their side quests.
And they, whoever lived, would come with you to the next game.
Yeah.
How do you even make that?
Yeah, that I don't know.
Especially in the PS3 era.
I know that on PlayStation it only got Mass Effect 2 and 3, so you basically
make your decisions.
You had like a comic book.
Oh, okay.
So you saw images and you made the decisions, but then it would port into Mass Effect 2. So Xbox had all 3 of them, so they got to do it. I was such a fan that after I completed on PS3, I got an Xbox just to play Mass Effect 1.
So this is just what you do. You buy games multiple times.
Apparently.
Your favorites.
Apparently.
That's how you can make your list. Yeah. How many times did I buy the game?
It's funny, too, because I literally bought it again because they remastered it and packaged it for PC. I haven't played through it, but, it's one of those games that, dude, it was just amazing. I wish I could, erase my memories and experience it for the first time again.
Oh, I wish I could do that with Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But me and Jets were playing Overcooked yesterday, and I put on the Little Big Planet soundtrack. So good. Now, this is going to be one for me. Super Smash Bros. I don't know how, just in general, you just, you miss Nintendo. I know you said you started with Nintendo, but
I hate Nintendo.
Damn!
Yeah, I'm saying it.
Really?
Pretty much. They're kind of dicks. Right? I guess okay, my only things that I like with Nintendo is the things that we've done. I love Mario Party. That's cool.
Yeah, Mario Kart, the party games.
I'm not good at Mario Kart.
But you like playing it.
I'm not good at racing or fighting. But yeah, I'll play it. I suck, but I guess the reason that I didn't have that attachment to Nintendo growing up, what I had was a Nintendo 64, right?
Right.
And I played GoldenEye. I wasn't
the furthest thing away from what Nintendo
I wasn't playing Nintendo. And today, I get the charm and I get that they're banking on nostalgia. Right. But Nintendo's a company, all the decisions they make, and they don't even like people showing gameplay and stuff. I'm like, dude, what are you guys doing? They're trying to keep
they're old.
Yeah. they're like Nintendo's a toy. You buy the product and you own it, and that's it. And so that's, meh.
I get it. Well, Super Smash Bros.
Rare Japan L.
Rare Japan L. But you don't have that memory going to McDonald's and playing Smash Bros.
I have the memory going to McDonald's and playing that weird racing game with the speeders. They floated.
F-Zero. Yeah. That's where Captain Falcon is from.
And Donkey Kong, but I guess it didn't appeal to me.
You didn't stick with it. Yeah.
One thing that I realized too is you were kind of my exposure to a lot of other genres that I just wouldn't touch. Platformers were never my thing.
That is my what's the word? I can't even think of it.
Bread and butter.
I guess so. Yeah, that's my bread and butter. And then fighting games is probably number 2.
Yeah, which is so interesting to me because I guess going back to I like technical, I like immersion, I like things that get close to reality, I suppose. And so that's why I appreciate the Cupheads and I think it's good when you push the art in different directions. But I guess I've never really sat down and played a platformer. There's one game, it's called Anno Mutagenin. I've had it for a year and I've been meaning to play it. It's
how confident are you that you nailed that title?
I'm very confident.
Okay.
Because it's been sitting.
It's not like you made that up.
It's because it's been sitting there, and it's a cyberpunk 16-bit kind of role-playing game, and the charm, the art, everything looks amazing, but I just haven't played through it because it's in my brain, I know myself. I'm the guy who's I want to play Starfield. I'm excited for that game,
Right.
I'm excited for games like that. I feel maybe I'm too narrow when it comes to the games that I play.
Okay. So really quick on Smash Bros. Every Nintendo console has one Smash Bros. And that's when it feels okay, a new era. And just different eras. The McDonald's one for me, or the 64 one, the first Smash Bros. It just reminds me of McDonald's. The Melee one reminds me of when I went to a neighbor's place and they had the GameCube. I was like, what the hell's a GameCube?
Yeah.
And they had Melee, so I asked my mom for one and got one. The Wii era had Brawl, which I bought my Wii from you because it was impossible to find. Yeah. So I bought my Nintendo Wii from you since you only played it Wii Sports on it. I bought it. He gave me like a whole package, all the controls and everything, and
Can't
Smash
say I'm
Bros.
not consistent about hating Nintendo.
I know. So that's where it lost you. Just like, this is all you do?
Yeah, it just felt very kiddish. And I
Yeah.
know I was a kid,
I
obviously.
was about to say, it was like 6th grade for you.
I know. I'm just, just so mature at heart.
So that's a whole era to the Brawl era where like that one, like, I'm playing by myself and I'm unlocking all the characters. And then after that, like they just kept expanding on it. It's just special to me. Any other ones you want to throw out before I go?
I just want to throw out, I don't know if I call them honorable mentions, but because we've both experienced good times with them, obviously Red Dead and Red Faction Guerrilla, both Red.
But also, I was going to bring up Red Faction earlier too, like just that era to a multiplayer.
Yeah. Destruction just works good with us.
Yeah. We just want to
We should
just break shit.
stuff.
I was telling Judge it'd be cool to go to like one of those places where like a cool date to go to one of those places where you just like destroy a car or you just like throw paint on something and break glass. Like how cool.
That would be cool.
That'd be a cool date. We should go.
We should go.
Forget the girls. Let's go.
Let's break some shit.
But yeah, so Red Faction is a destructible environment game. Like better than, it looks a little faker, but still better than Battlefield. Like Battlefield, you could break some stuff. This game, everything you could break.
Remember that one map we would choose with 4 buildings? And we're like, okay, so the first thing we're going to do is going to break everything.
We'd level it.
Until it's literally just a flat
And
plane.
that was the era of games where like you had backpacks and they did different abilities. Like Halo tried doing that too.
that was a trend, huh?
Yeah.
I never realized that.
So in Red Faction, we would get the Rhino backpack or the Thruster. So you can either like thrust down and squish somebody or Rhino them and like
forward.
And then just squish them. Yeah, you boost up too. And then we'd have hammers, which is like the game's gimmick the gimmick is destructible environment and hammers. And man, when you hit somebody with a hammer in this game, the sound effect and how far they would fly, include that like with the jetpacks and everything. It was so fun. And we abused the shit out of that game.
It was so good. Dude, that feel. I know like we've talked about it sometimes, but like there's like certain like the way the image matches the vibration and like how everything connects.
It matters, dude.
That's like a dopamine hit every time.
Even on like the new God of War game, the axe, like when you throw it and call it back, you feel the weight of it.
I love that. Yeah.
So since I already mentioned it, God of War, like I didn't care for God of War. I played a couple. I played God of War 3, I think, and then like Ascension, but I didn't get into God of War like that until the new like remake / like continuation. It's a requel. And like the 2018 one on PS4, and then the new one that just came out on PS5, they're incredible. The storytelling, like what they do with the camera, which is crazy. Like I'm saying that about a game, but it's all shot like it's one shot.
I remember we talked about that, and I realized I'm like, you're right. That is like
from when you hit start on the game, to when you roll credits, it's one shot, including that like you playing the game. It's all one shot. It's incredible. Story's great. Definitely play it if you haven't. Definitely recommend. You didn't play the second one, did you?
I haven't played the second one. I've been really bad with the PlayStation exclusive games because
you didn't play Ghost of Tsushima either.
I did play Ghost of Tsushima and I enjoyed it.
That was cool.
It's like weird. I'm a video game hipster too now, dude.
No,
am I be?
Because, you're just a hipster.
Because here's the thing, I love gaming, and there's my titles that I'm like I'm gonna play the shit out of that. But lately, it's like the PlayStation stuff, even though I'll enjoy it. Like, I played Spider-Man, and it was fun. I haven't played Miles Morales, and I'm not really excited for the second one.
Wow.
And then, like, God of War, I played it, and I remember, like, the Valkyrie. Oh, man.
Oh, Valkyrie Queen?
Dude, I spent days trying to beat her.
Yeah, she pissed me off.
It pissed me off, too. But it feels so good when you beat her. And, yeah, the whole game was amazing. But I haven't played the second one, and I have a PS5. And same with Horizon Zero Dawn. I never played the first one, and I haven't played the second one. But those are all games that are on my radar. And maybe I need to do what you're saying, like, because like I'm really excited for Starfield. I know I've mentioned like 4 times already. Yeah. But maybe like, because right now I'm playing Outer Worlds. Do you know that game?
Okay, yeah, I've heard of it.
I'm like, this is the closest thing. This is the closest thing to Starfield. So maybe after I'm done with that game, I need to just catch up. Because after I watched Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man movie, I was like, dude, I should play the game. But I don't know.
We gotta talk about that movie after we're done here.
Yeah, I don't know what's up like with me. There's something wrong with me, man. You're
getting old.
Sheesh.
That's the thesis of this: is we're getting old and we're gamers.
Yeah, because they're good games, and I appreciate good games. So they're really good games. That's the thing that I'll give it to them. Like, that's what the thing that I will say about console is that they package something that is like good through and through. Like what they did with God of War. Like, it's not just that it's one cut. It's like, put PlayStation in rest mode. And then I come back and right back where I left off.
Wow.
On PC, you know, it's just more complex. It's a computer, you know? It's not that seamless.
Yeah.
It really isn't. So, you know, it's not just a couple
I
more
think you
steps.
need to commit to like, okay, this weekend I'm doing this. Like, not just I'm bored, let me try it.
Yeah.
You need to want to.
That's the problem. You know when you guys are like on Netflix and you just
No, I don't ever do that.
And scrolling.
No.
Well, all the viewers do that. I'm speaking
I know.
for them.
Okay. But yeah, I don't understand that, but go ahead.
That's how I feel with video games sometimes, especially because, you know.
And that's when I started feeling like it was a waste of time. Was when it was like, I'm bored. What do I do? Let me find a game to play.
Yeah. Like you're forcing yourself.
Yeah, and then I'm not having fun playing. And But yeah, same thing. I don't do that on Netflix or anything. I never understood that, where it's just like, let's just watch something. Yeah. To me, it's just like, how do you not know what you're getting yourself into? Yeah.
See, I am that way, but that's the thing is, like, my girlfriend, she like she'll just jump into anything and she'll dude.
Women ruin everything.
Well, I didn't say that. I mean,
I'm gonna cut that part
out. But the thing is, like, she is good at starting something, and then once my eyeballs are on it, I'm in. But I don't want to start that commitment, even though it's something as simple as playing it. Because the thing is, like, my attention will be on it.
Right.
And, like, you've seen the layout of my apartment. Like, when I'm on my computer and she's watching something, it's hard for it to not take me away from what I'm doing. You know?
Right.
But
so it's her fault.
Yeah, it's her fault.
Women ruin everything. So up next, now I'll just speed run a couple of these. There's some that I want to highlight.
Okay.
But we already talked about Call of Duty. Like that, just really quick. The era of...
It's an institute.
It's an institute. The era of Modern Warfare 1, the Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 1 to Black Ops 3 is like prime Call of Duty. And again, maybe I sound like an old guy, like if there's younger people watching, but those like 6 games of like Modern Warfare 1 through 3, Black Ops 1 through 3 were just peak. Like, we were always there.
Yeah.
Now maybe we're the right age for it too, but it just felt right. Like it didn't feel so realistic. It felt arcadey, but nice. You know, like,
I agree. I mean, I think that is kind of the golden era. I really like the remake.
I'm enjoying the new ones too.
Modern War number 2 is kind of like I'm still playing it and stuff, but I guess like Call of Duty diverges multiple aspects that I like. Like for me, like I like guns. I like the technical aspect. So when Call of Duty becomes a little bit more realistic, and as far as like now where you're talking about barrels and calibers and attachments, like the gun nut in my brain goes like, oh yeah, cool.
See, that's too much for me too. Like I just want to pick up a gun and shoot.
I mean, you can still do that, and the irony is that, you know, because when I play, I want to play well. You know, I'm not like a crazy good, you know, at it, but I'm just saying, like, I want to learn the meta, and a lot of the times it's like, you know, when you put attachments, you make the gun worse. You know, it's like better off with nothing.
Right.
So, but I feel like part of it is, I don't know if you've heard this, and maybe I don't want to spend too much time on this, but like Call of Duty and a lot of multiplayer games implement, I forgot what it's called, but they rank you. You don't know your rank, but they know it. They know how well you play, and they keep stacking you against people.
Are you talking about skill-based matchmaking?
Yes.
Okay.
Skill-based matchmaking. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, that's so true. Because I remember, like, dude, we played COD 4, and sure, like, some guy would body us. You get, like, freaking 200 kills.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit. But, you know what? You said, okay, you know, maybe the next game is your game.
Right.
And now...
So they're babying everybody.
A little bit. Like, okay, I'm going to go with it. Yes. Because normally, in other aspects of life, I agree with systems like that.
Yeah.
But in this situation, I don't. Because... it's okay.
You sound like an old man. You're like, back in my day, we played whoever, it's got to stay that way.
It's just that the reason that they're doing it is they don't want people to just quit the game.
Yeah.
They don't want to go, oh, I'm shit. I don't want to play the game anymore. So now they've lost.
Which is weird because, like, as for Call of Duty, because, like, it's not like it's a free-to-play game. Sure, Warzone is. But if you're going to play the multiplayer, you already spent $60. Like,
yeah.
Oh, well, you wasted your money then.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, look, they obviously have all the statistics and they know what it means for them. And there's a reason why they keep implementing it. But to me, I do feel like that is some element here, is that, you know, the golden age happens to end when this kind of system starts to be implemented.
Right.
And so I think that's an aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, like, Advanced Warfare, oh God. You remember that?
It's when they're trying to find their footing from Ghosts to
They're like
Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, we've done the past, we've done the present. Let's go to the future. And it's
like, don't.
Yeah, I mean, you could, but like make it realistic, like things that are.
They did like anti-gravity, and it was awful.
I don't know how close we are to anti-gravity, brother.
All right, Mortal Kombat. I already mentioned it. That one has always been a staple, but I didn't get into it until like they rebooted with WB Games. The Mortal Kombat in 2011, Mortal Kombat X in 2015, Mortal Kombat 11, and now the new one that's coming out, and they're rebooting it again. But there's like a story reason why, and just overall like the systems, everything. I already talked about it. Love Mortal Kombat. Easy to get into with all the blood and everything. They're actually important to gaming industry, into the gaming industry, because
like huge history.
Huge history. But on top of that, they were one of the games. It was them and like one more, I think, that brought the ESRB rating, because they're just like, kids are playing these games and there's a lot of blood. So they are the reason why there's a rated M.
That reminds me. Sorry to go like
go for it. I'm done.
There's an anime I should recommend to you, and it's a Netflix anime.
Here we go, guys.
And I don't remember the name, but it's really cool because it's about this young kid in Japan, and it's the arcade scene. He's growing up in it. Okay. So we kind of hear that in real time, the Mortal Kombat, its effect, and Street Fighter.
Oh, so it takes place like in our world.
Yeah, and he's like he's in that era of those consoles and the fighting games, and it's kind of cute because there's like a love interest, and she's like this girl who doesn't talk, and
she's really good at fighting.
She's really
games.
fucking good at video games, at fighting games, and he's like, I need to beat you. Yeah. And it's kind of cute. Like there's a story that unfolds there, but you know, a little side thing. But
is it a shorter one?
It is shorter.
Like one of those like one season ones?
It's probably only 1 or 2 seasons right now, and it probably will continue. Unless Netflix canned it. I don't know, but I liked it. I thought it was cool. I felt like I learned something about the video game industry, cool. Especially with fighting games.
The Last of Us. This is one where I'm gonna avoid spoilers because this story is just so important to me, and just I would not want to ruin it, especially with so many people liking the show now. But that's just true. Last of Us 1 and 2 are just incredible storytelling.
2 was better.
2 was better. Absolutely, I agree with you. It takes bigger. It takes no, it is, but not here.
People hated it.
That was just at first. Okay. You know what's funny? And I mentioned this before with Misael when we talked about villains. Go check out our best villains episode. It's really good.
It was good.
We talked about Abby there from Last of Us 2 and everything.
She's not a villain.
And no, hey, you should have been a part of that conversation then. You missed it. Go watch that episode. But we brought up Last of Us there, and I forgot why I brought it up.
Probably because we want to avoid spoilers if they do. I mean, they're going to do season 2, right?
They're going to do season 2. Yeah, we didn't want to spoil anything. I forgot what my point was, but anyway. These
opinions changing on it?
No. Definitely not. We were talking about like the reaction to it.
I just remember Last of Us 2, and I have a friend group, and there's like one guy who like always has his opinions, and like my point is that like
I know that guy. not I don't actually know him, but I know that type.
We all know that guy. And the thing is like, there's a trend as gamers, and maybe that's like another discussion, but views seem to lean a certain way sometimes, and there was a lot of thoughts about Last of Us 2. And it was, to me, I felt like I kept getting like a lot of negative opinions all over the place. And I was like, I thought this game was really good.
That's what I was going to mention. Thank you. Hold your thought. I mentioned in that episode that I heard from, I don't have the stats or anything. Look it up if you care enough. And if you made it this far to the podcast. But Last of Us 2 actually has one of the highest completion rates for a PlayStation first party exclusive. So very funny that so many people love to finish it, but so many people are loud about it.
Maybe it's like a local like a very
That's
local
what I think
minority.
It is. Yeah, because Twitter
that makes sense.
Is probably 1% of the less than 1% of the people that actually played the game. Most people are quiet about it. Like, we're not online bitching about it.
That's true. We're online right now. And then if you are going to bitch about it, you're going to bitch about it. You're not going to rave about it. Right?
Yeah.
It's like the same
that's
sentiment.
The thing.
It's like, that's true.
Like when you going to go on a Yelp is when you're probably mad that a restaurant did something, right? Not because it's so good. Like, Anyway, I interrupted your thought. Did you remember what it was?
I thought?
Yeah, because I said, hold your thought. I was like, I just remembered mine.
Oh, well, I was just saying, like, I really enjoyed Last of Us 2, and I felt like a lot of people, I was like, you're right. It was Twitter. It was all these places, all these, like, opinions, like, oh.
YouTube,
like,
whatever.
Yeah, like, it's SJW, this and that. And it's like, I mean, I like the story. You know, there was complex characters.
No spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get spoilers. It's just there was a layer of complexity that we don't get in video games, and that's why
it's right here trying to push the medium of video games forward, and you have these man children complaining about it. Like, you can have your criticism about it, but like the reaction to it, how people were complaining about it was so childish. You know, most of the people didn't even play the game that are complaining about it. Yeah, because they got leaked early, so people were looking up spoilers, and without even playing it, they thought they knew everything. Even then, big swings. What I was gonna say when I started was just some of the best storytelling I've seen. Period. Yeah. Now, some of that contradicts with some of the gameplay, which again, not gonna spoil, but. I do have some minor criticisms, but they get points for how big the swing was.
Too much muscle mommy hate.
Yeah. What's up with that?
I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of insecure men out there, you know?
Bunch of babies. Anyway, so really quick, I already talked about Overwatch. I really liked Overwatch. I talked about Bloodborne. See, these just naturally came up earlier, so and these are on my list. There you go. Bloodborne's incredible. I recommend to anybody if you're afraid of playing a Souls game, and if you want a challenge, Bloodborne is incredible. Overcooked is. Again, I mentioned that earlier too. Overcooked is a really fun co-op game. It's a really good girlfriend game too.
Yeah, great time to just let it all out.
Yeah, if you want to fight. I remember Jets would get like upset when we would play at first because like she thought I was being mean. I was like, no, like we need to go to this place.
We can never run a restaurant together.
We need to go to this place to get 3 stars on this level. And then eventually she broke and she started talking shit to me like months later, like when we just kept going back to it. So she finally understood like what it takes to get there, you know. I talked about God of War. Cuphead, favorite indie game of all time. That game's incredible. It's a platformer, it's a boss battle, and you got to do both at the same time. Really hard. Me and my friend Misael actually,
I remember you telling me.
We played through the whole game together and beat it.
It took like weeks or days, or
well, he would come over once every like 3 or 4 weeks, so it took months. But those sessions, we would just get hammered. We'd get drunk in a good way.
Just progressively worse.
Yeah, that's why. Like we'd get worse because we were drunk, but then we'd get better because we're playing it more. So it was just constantly fluctuating, and we'd have to talk shit to each other to get each other through it. But when we would finally beat a boss after legit an hour of playing against them, sometimes 2 hours of playing the same level, the cheers after the how strong the high five was after was the dopamine. And last one I'll talk about, because this is a special one too, Rock Band.
Oh,
the whole
DJ Hero.
Oh yeah. We'll go in there too. I'm the only person that bought DJ Hero in our valley here. But
dude, was it? Refresh my memory, since your memory is so damn good. Wasn't it at one of the Call of Duty launch events?
One of the Call of Duty midnight launches. When it was actually at midnight too. Like we had to stay there till midnight. All these kids and shit. They had DJ Hero there, and nobody played DJ Hero except for me. And if you made it this far to the conversation, you don't know anything I'm talking about. It was like Rock Band, Guitar Hero. It was the DJ kit. Turntable, yeah, there we go. It was a turntable, and it had like 3 buttons, and you actually had to like turn it to like activate it, and then you had like a little mixer over here. So it was actually cool, like how you would do it, but nobody bought it or played it because that game came out like a couple years too late. Like the peak of the instrument games, you know, it was a couple years before that. So DJ Hero came out, it flopped. I bought it. I got really good, and I was able to play on expert. I couldn't do that with anything on Rock Band or Guitar Hero, except for the drums on Guitar Hero. But long story short, we're at a midnight launch. They had Guitar Hero there, and I was just like, I'm about to show these people what this game can do.
That was your talent, dude. I remember we even went to one of the Smash Bros. Launches, and you were like, I don't even remember if you won. Was that game crazy?
It was the game crazy.
That's crazy, dude.
It was attached to Hollywood Video.
Yeah,
or Blockbuster. Which one was it? I don't know. I think it was Hollywood Video.
Yeah. This guy just shows up to midnight launches.
I lost that one.
That's why midnight launches don't exist anymore, by the way.
Because I was just wiping the floor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember we were there with our mutual friend Pedro, and he was like hyping me up. He's like, "You gonna go do it or whatever?" Because I was like kind of just like, "Oh, should I?" And then it was like in the winter because it's November or almost winter. I don't know. Point is, it was cold, so I had my sweater on, and then Pedro comes. He's like, and then he made an announcement. He's like, everybody, like, step back, like the champ's coming through. Or said something. Took off my sweater for me, and then I just started going on DJ Hero on expert. And I was just playing like all these songs, and you would mix them between 2 songs. And I remember, yeah, like some people were coming up to me like, "Oh, like how do you play? Like how do you do?" Like everybody was ignoring it until then. Like, it was on like a giant projector outside. It was cool. That was like the coolest I've ever been, and it's all been downhill.
That was the peak.
I
right
peaked
there.
in 8th grade. But yeah, like that whole Rock Band era. Like I went over to a friend's house, played it, and I didn't even like rock music at the time. Besides Linkin Park, I've always liked Linkin Park. And just playing it at his house, like we'd go after school, just play, and then like I begged my mom to get it for us. I was like, we need this. And then me and Augie played it. He was on guitar, I was on drums. We played through the whole story or whatever. And that's just one of those things I wish we would still have. Because if you look at the price on eBay or Amazon, they're skyrocketing. It's like $800.
I haven't even thought to look.
Oh, it's bad. When I made this list, I looked it up again.
Oh, shit.
No, it's bad. I'd probably only play it like once a month now, maybe like once a year. But it's a cool like party. Like, how cool would it be if everybody was around right now? We're just playing all of the. We're playing through the song. Somebody's singing. Nobody ever sang, by the way.
I know. I think you should just go.
Yeah, it just
It's a tone.
You don't
It's
need
like,
to say the words, but yeah, those are all the games on my list.
The Witcher.
The Witcher. Is it one of your favorite games?
Yeah, honestly is. Because again, it's like these games, like
Another RPG.
Yeah, I keep getting introduced to these studios who keep pushing it to the next, to the next, to the next. And yeah, The Witcher 3. I remember like my friend Ruben was like, you should play this. It was like a summer, there was nothing to play. And at the time I had like Gamefly. And I was like, all right, cool. Like I'll try it.
Gamefly before you buy.
Gamefly before you buy. And dude, the game like immediately immersed. And you know this about me, but I never cared for like fantasy, mystical, medieval. Like I was a sci-fi guy, like sci-fi or like not. But this is literally what opened the door to me. Like if it wasn't for The Witcher,
No Game of Thrones.
No Game of Thrones. I barely got into Harry Potter. You know, like I just was not into that. Like I'm like, that's nerd shit.
Yeah.
as I play with Star Wars Legos.
You really are just a stereotype. Like you're over there in your astronaut suit judging the guy in his like centaur outfit.
Like centaurs.
That's more like mythical. Oh, I guess yeah, Witcher is more than like a Game of Thrones.
The reason why I liked Witcher is because a lot of the role playing games weren't gritty, and The Witcher was. They were like, if this world existed, humans would be fucking racist. And like there would be all these problems, and kingdoms are fighting, and it's brutal. Like it is
like Game of Thrones. And shit.
Yes, and that's
politics.
that. I think that's what has led me to like this kind of stuff more, like the gritty, political, and all that element. And The Witcher, again, your decisions have weight, and it's a fantastic game. Like I can't rave about it.
I tried that one, and then that was like years ago. This was probably like 5-6 years ago because you liked it so much. And then I gave it a shot, and it was really cool. But it got to the point where I was just like, oh, like this is gonna take a long time, and I have like a backlog. Like I'll get to it eventually. So I did enjoy my time with it, but I know I didn't even scratch the surface.
I know that game with all the DLCs, and I'm the kind of person that like in these games I don't want my experience to end. So I kind of am a completionist. Like I'll do it all, and I think it was like 180 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Do you know what your most played game is?
Yeah, I do.
Like statistically, like not just what is it?
Civilization is a strategy game. I think I have like 800 hours.
Which one? Like
it's
because there's multiple, right?
Yeah, I think it's Civs 5. Yeah,
is that the newest?
No, the newest one I didn't
6.
like as much because I keep trying to play the newest one. It's just I'm just a little dictator, you know. I just want to take over the world.
You're just a dick. In video games, you are. In real life, you're a great person. In video games, it's like that's where you let all your hatred out.
Well, yeah. So like the newer version, it's too. They don't really reward combat because there's always been multiple ways to win the game, but in this one, it was like they make it so difficult to conquer the world. Like it's very difficult. You need like it's just not worth it. So. That's why I didn't play it as much. I do appreciate it, and they changed the art style. It looks like a Pixar movie now. But, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for the next one to be better. But, yeah, Civs 5, that's the whole reason I even built a PC.
Yeah.
I remember I played the demo at, like, our friend Dylan's house because he had a PC. And I was like, holy shit, I need a computer. And so then I got a computer. The real strategy game that got me into strategy games was Red Alert 3.
Oh, yeah, I remember you liking that game.
I remember one of my cousins on PS3 messaged me like, how long can you be playing a demo for? I played like Red Alert 3 demo for like 3 days, 4 days, or like a week. And that's all I played. And it was one mission. And I loved the idea of like, I'm in command of all these units and I tell them what to do. And like, I actually cared about them. Like, I didn't want them to die. And so I'd try to do good strategies and do this and that. So that's like, that's one of my big genres too, is role-playing games, strategy games.
For sure, strategy games.
Yeah.
Like that's your version of my fighting games, where it's like, I'm not even going to touch it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I did, you're just going to win. Why try?
Yeah. So yeah, strategy games have always been fun. And that's the one thing I think my PC friends, like that's the one thing we'll usually kind of reconnect.
Yeah. See, that sounds like fun though. Mm-hmm. Like everybody betraying each other.
Oh, it's always fun for me.
Yeah, I bet. Now,
but yeah.
Any other games that you can think of, or any games that like we played together that were like us games?
I feel like we covered most of them.
We definitely covered most, if not all.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other that come out to me. We haven't mentioned any Star Wars games, and I wonder, like, is it that Star Wars games just didn't hit?
Old Republic you liked, right? Or no?
Oh, the original Old Republic,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So I guess that kind of brings into discussion the most recent Jedi Survivor, right? So the first, what was it, Jedi... What was the first one called?
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. So when Fallen Order came out, and they were like, "Oh, it's Elder Scroll-esque, Bloodborne-esque," and those are not really my kind of games,
But it's Star Wars.
But it's Star Wars, and it is a Star Wars on it. I'm playing it. I'm buying it. I'm watching it. I'm consuming it. So. And
we'll bring you back for Star Wars talk later.
Oh, yeah.
I think we'll definitely rank the movies together, but I want Misael there too. Okay. I was going to do that for this episode, but I was like, no, I can't leave out Misael for that one, so.
He's got to be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing about the newest one, Survivor, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, people were like ranking Star Wars games, and they put it right next to Old Republic, and I was like, don't you dare do that.
Like at the top?
I think it was right below it. I think it was number 2, and I was like, ooh, I don't know. I'm like, that good? So I know that we've had this discussion, but when I first played Jedi Survivor, I have a badass computer. Highest specs, one of the best GPUs. It's a monster. I spent a lot of money on this thing. All right, not to blow.
Yeah.
I start Jedi Survivor, and I'm getting like console level performance. And I'm like, brother...
We're about to end this podcast right now.
It frustrated me because I'm telling you, I get a nice monitor, I get everything nice because
you paid for it. You expect to get what you paid for.
Exactly. And especially like as adults, right? If this is my one hobby, my one thing I throw money into, I always want the best. Like that's what I do. And it's not all at once. It's incremental, and that's what I like about PC too. Like I just recently upgraded my processor. I didn't have to buy a whole new computer, but I spent, 2 PS5s worth of money to do that, But anyways,
it was performing like shit.
It was performing like shit, and it frustrated me, okay? And that was right about the time I was going to go on vacation, and, to further PC supremacy, I'm leaving.
Why are you doubling down?
I can't haul away my giant, heavy, expensive computer.
Right.
I have a laptop, okay?
Okay.
So I can continue playing. And I thought I can at least stomach lower performance on my laptop because it's not as powerful as my PC.
Yeah.
So I'm in Mexico and I'm playing it and I'm pretty much immediately sucked in. I was like, once I got past, just turn off the FPS reader. You don't need to know. Okay. If it's smooth, then you're happy. So I've been playing it. And
that's an ego thing, that FPS thing. Why does it matter?
You're right. The handhelds have made me realize that it doesn't matter that much. And also, Starfield. Because Todd Howard was like, we're locking console to 30 FPS, and everyone's outraged.
Yeah.
And then recently,
that's more of an Xbox thing because they've been doing that.
Yeah,
it just has a publisher. But
and recently because I've been on the handheld is like, again, because my interest in the technical is on the opposite end. Because on the computer, I don't care how much power it wastes. I don't care how much heat it generates. Like I will make it a monster. But on the handheld, it's more about how impressed you are with how much performance you get on something so small. And so the handheld has kind of taught me like 30, 45, 50 FPS. Those are like sweet spots.
Yeah. Even if it fluctuates, it's still good.
Because you're also concerned about battery life. So if you can lower,
just play on PS5, people. You hear this bullshit you have to deal with? This is why they stroke their ego talking about performance and all this frame rate shit because of all this stuff that you can waste all this time.
You're right.
And then you have to go brag about it to everybody about how awful it is to play on PC. Go ahead.
Listen, PC's not for everyone.
It's for rich people.
It's not even for rich people.
It's not for you brokies.
It's for people who don't mind doing that, who want that. Right?
Yeah, that's fun to you. It's like
a console is a set locked experience. Okay.
For poor people.
Not just for anyone, for people who don't have time to fuck around with this
I'm
stuff.
setting you up to like triple, quadruple down, and now you're pulling back a little bit.
I'm pulling back a little because I'm just saying, like, look, computers are expensive. They're an investment. They're also more than just a console, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, it's something that does a lot of things. But if you literally just want to get off work and hop on something and not have to think twice, like, there's so many convenient things about a console.
Oh, yeah.
Automatic updates. Buy something on my phone and download it directly to my console, and it's ready when I get home. Like, that's all awesome.
You know what's cool about the Xbox One? Because I had it, but like I had it for Cuphead, for Killer Instinct, for Titanfall at the time. But I used to get off work. So I go in my room, get off work, take off my shirt, and I'd be like, Xbox on. And it'll just turn on while I'm like getting comfy and shit. And then it would just be ready by the time I sat down.
Like, this is the future.
I know. And then it failed. And now the new one didn't even come with a Kinect.
Damn.
But anyway, you really like Star Wars Jedi.
It's very good. Insanely good. Probably one of the best Star Wars games I've ever played.
It's a good step into that type of combat. Like, if what you took out of it was, hey, I really like the combat, I definitely recommend Bloodborne because it's a step further.
Yeah.
And again, those moments when you finally get past a boss is like the best dopamine hit ever.
I like the combat, but honestly, it was the story that really sold it. Did you end up playing it, or
the new one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
You beat it?
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that after. See, that would have been a cool one to have you on. Is like if this channel was up at the time, you could have came in for the review and we could have geeked out about that for like an hour. Yeah. So we'll find ways to utilize you. But I think this is definitely the longest episode by like 10 minutes. I think mine and Jets was like an hour 30.
I told you it was gonna be a long one.
I don't know if this episode will do numbers because one, it's really long. Two, I don't know. I think the conversation was good, but you know what? Who cares what numbers it does because you're a podcaster now, baby.
Sheesh. I'm a content creator. Where do I plug? Who are my sponsors?
Yeah. Well, tell them what you're working on.
I'm working on myself.
Hey,
you know, I'm just trying to be a better me.
We're not going to get a better ending than that. So let me just end it there. Once again, if you made it this far, an hour and 40 minutes, or maybe you just skipped to the end, who knows? But if you're hearing this, we definitely appreciate it. If you want to support the channel again, like the video, subscribe. Let us know if you want Saul back.
Yeah, share it. No, comment on there.
Comment. Yeah, look at you. You're a natural.
Dude, I'm going to come in one day with the shades and I'm going to be a different personality.
Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying?
With like a shaved head.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, that happens.
Or maybe just the sides.
Just a mullet.
A mullet. Yeah, shades in the mullet.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. This podcast going to change real quick.
Did you see, you sounded like Hulk Hogan. We did a Macho Man Randy Savage voice, so I don't know what you're going for. Or
I'm going for country conservative.
Brother, that's Hulk Hogan.
Brother.
All right, guys. Until next time, peace out.
Peace.